Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar on Vitaracharts. My name is Hema. I'm the co-founder of Vitaracharts and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us today. Whether you've been a Vitaracharts user or you've looked at our tool in the past, or if this is completely brand new to you, we'll try to make sure we cover this for making it interesting to all our audience. So stay tuned as we deep dive into Vitaracharts for MicroStrategy. Before we begin, a quick intro video on what the product is about, and then after that we will jump into the live demonstration.
You're bombarded every day with demands for data that tells the right story. Luckily for you, Vitara makes ready-to-use visualizations from MicroStrategy, which helps you tell moving stories, unique stories, or find new stories at the click of a button. And all you have to do is to drop the Vitaracharts plugin into MicroStrategy. You'll get unlimited access to all the visualizations available today and any we add in the future. Vitara technical support will always be there to back you up. Do you have Vitaracharts yet? Join MicroStrategy customers all over the world who use Vitaracharts for every kind of data. Get a free trial today. Vitaracharts for MicroStrategy. Business visualized.
So that's a little bit about us. As you might already know, we are ex-MicroStrategy folks who've come together to form this company, and we are focused exclusively on visualizations. The biggest differentiator that we offer is the fact that not only are these visualizations completely ready to use, but they also come fully supported. So whether you're a customer on version, the latest version, or you're a couple of versions behind, or you want to keep up with the latest and greatest features that MicroStrategy has to offer, whether it's on library, whether it's on office integration, what have you, we make sure that we certify and support all the things that strategy is launching and stay lockstep with their innovative approach to business intelligence. So with that, we'll deep dive into what the charts are all about, how they can be easily installed, and how you can get value from it immediately. So if you look at Vitaracharts, they are completely ready to use. This is our website, vitaracharts.com, and from here you can take a look at a number of options to get started with Vitaracharts. You could very quickly schedule a demo with us and take a 30-day trial, or you can simply click on this interactive charts button, which will take you to our public cloud server with strategy. And on this cloud server, as you can see, we have set up examples of all the Vitaracharts that are possible, and you can easily navigate through this and experience what an end user would experience when they start to play around with Vitaracharts. Our biggest differentiation here is that our charts are built for end users, so they don't really have any coding whatsoever. So if you start to look at any of our charts, let's say you take something like a calendar chart and open it up, it's end user friendly. It's based on point and click to configure stuff. So if you are clicking any of the edit button in the dashboards, you will be getting an editor based control to configure stuff, whether it's something as simple as color palettes, or you're changing something like data labels or background colors or adding images. Everything is point and click and super intuitive to use, so it doesn't require a whole lot of technical training to get started with these charts. And the charts themselves are also organized to kind of give the maximum value to the user immediately, right? So we have these categories of charts that will help you figure out which chart would be right to use given a particular scenario that you're working on. The very first thing you have is you have all your fundamental charts. Whether you're wanting to make a bar chart, line chart, what have you, you will have those available with Vitaracharts. And the question you might ask is, why do I have these basic charts? The reason is quite simple. We are looking at all the competitive landscape in the BI space and looking at all the features that are available in these basic charts, like you might say play animation, or having customized markers, or being able to customize different kinds of background colors, customizable data labels, inserting images into the charts, and so on and so forth. You can do all of that with Vitaracharts. We'll show you quick examples of how you could do that. But additionally, even if you take something like the grid, which is integral to all reporting, we have a lot of features that we've incorporated based on use cases that we've heard across various industries in the last 10 years, that would be tremendously useful for customers, right? So that's kind of what we'll walk through. Additionally, there are new charts and features that we've added over periods of time based on real life use cases that we've heard. So things like the calendar chart, which we looked at earlier, or things like Gantt chart, waffle chart, etc. These are all new charts that don't exist today in strategy, and then you can easily use Vitaracharts to meet your particular use case around that. So we'll show you some of the new charts that we have, and of course the KPI charts, which are evergreen regardless of business. These are always going to be coming up, so we'll talk through the different KPI options that we offer as well that you can potentially use for your reporting platform. So let's deep dive now into some of the basic charts that we offer and how we can enhance those with different features, special features that you can leverage in your environment. Before we jump into that, very quickly, let me show you a little bit about what we have available here. So as you can see, we have the charts and features as one of the sections, but we also have this new section that we added, which is called Industry Solutions. I have it open right here for you. And here we have ranked and created different solutions by industry that has been created for various customers to showcase the usability of Vitaracharts. So you can point and click on individually on each of these charts by industry. Let's say you're in the manufacturing space and you're trying to understand what solutions Vitara might offer. You would be able to click on different options like, let's say, factory production dashboard, or sales data and things like that, which would be relevant to your business, and pull that up and leverage it. Here I'm pulling up a production line summary of a factory. You can individually go in and figure out what's happening in the different bays. Individually you can see what is the downtime, how many units were produced, or you can click on a specific day and get more detailed information around that. This is related to downtime. In a similar way, we have another chart which is related to defects during manufacturing, how much scrap was generated, what was the reason for the specific downtime that that particular bay was facing. Everything like that can be created. You can see an interactive kind of custom visual here, which draws the manufacturing space itself. You have our calendar chart and you have our enhanced grid, along with some features related to our bar charts, which are allowing you to do things like a slash pattern and so forth, right? So we have these industry solutions which have been created. So if you are looking for specific guidance on the types of things that can be built, this is an additional resource that is now available to you. In terms of the basic charts themselves, as you are aware, we do have extra features like, let's say, the play axis, and this is super simple to add or create. It doesn't have to be specific to time, as you're seeing this, and this applies to all our charts as well. So if you're looking at our line chart, bar chart, what have you, you can create these types of play axis animations very easily. This is sometimes also called as a racer chart, so racing through time, if you will. So you can add or remove options into the play axis very easily without having to create any kind of custom code. So this is just a drop zone. You can remove or add here. I have a year over here, so that's coming up for you. But if you don't want year, you want to add something else, it's as easy as dragging and dropping that particular attribute into this section. So here we're seeing this for a bar chart, but as I mentioned, it's available for different chart styles. And the next screen, you're seeing a bunch of different charts, and you might be wondering how to make each of these charts. Well, let me tell you, every single thing on the screen is a bar chart. We just set up a few configuration items on the bar chart to create multiple chart styles. So in the first case, we have bar chart, but we have incorporated slash pattern to say forecast versus actuals. So we are able to compare forecast and actual in a very visual, dynamic way. In the second scenario, we've replaced a bar chart with a custom marker. In this case, we are showing male versus female shoppers and how much they spend, how much percentages across the different genders. In the third chart here in the middle, we have two bar charts overlaying with each other, and on the right hand side, this is a really interesting chart because what we do here is we turn on something called the polar mode. You can do this not only for bar chart but for area chart, line chart, etc., and in each case you create a new chart style. So if I would very quickly pull this up, I would go into the bar section and I would enable something called as polar mode or disable it. So depending on whether you have this turned on or off, a new chart style gets created for you based on the bar chart into this kind of concentric ring chart. And on the right hand side, we have the same thing going on but with area chart, and we've turned on the polar mode for the area chart. So in this way, we can take a single chart out of MicroStrategy and create a variety of chart styles and options just by modifying a few parameters. A few additional features that we earlier mentioned. So custom markers is one of them. Let's quickly pull that up and see what that looks like. So custom markers are super intuitive ways in which you can communicate with your end users, right? So if I pull up something like this, typically this looks like a fully built application which might take days of coding. But this in fact is a simple MicroStrategy dashboard which was built in less than a day. It was built using a simple bar chart. This happens to be a simple bar chart and a bullet chart on the right hand side, working well with a MicroStrategy interface to slide and select different load parameters. So by selecting a simple filter, changing the load that is being applied, you can change how the seats are looking loaded or empty. But the way in which this is built is this is a simple bar chart. If I would pull this out, you can see that's a bar chart, and in the bar chart we have just added custom marker styles to showcase the different seats in the aeroplane, and that is controlled by a MicroStrategy filter to give you this impact. Now the same thing could be a shopping aisle, it could be a truck, it could be a factory area, what have you. It's super simple to incorporate something like custom markers into all our chart styles to create very, very personalized displays of charts for your end users. The same principle can be applied to, as I said, all chart types. In this example, let me pull up a waffle chart. In this waffle chart, if we are trying to show, let's say, number of customers by age group or income group, and you want to display that as a percentage to total, you would use something like a waffle chart with Vitara. So this looks great, intuitive, right? But at the same time, in the left hand side, you have a waffle chart which is not personalized. It's a simple waffle pattern. But on the right hand side, we've taken the same waffle chart and we've changed the custom marker style. Very quickly, let me show you, because this is a very key feature that we offer with Vitaracharts. So if you're here, you're showing different percentages, and then you can just click on the waffle and change the marker style from, let's say, a square waffle to a human figure, immediately personalizing this. Or let's say you're in the retail industry and you want to display something specific to you, like a product image. Or if you want to incorporate your own image, we allow you to do that as well. You can put in your own image into this display, and that will allow you to create something completely unique to your end users as well. So this kind of waffle, which is called as a grid waffle, can also be modified into a new chart style, which would be a list waffle. Or if you prefer, you can make it into a block waffle as well. And in each scenario, you can always change the size, the style, the colors, and apply any kind of customization to get you the right kind of display. This kind of chart, which is fairly modern looking, is a great replacement for your pie chart, because while we offer a pie chart and it comes with exhaustive options to customize as well, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to read. So you have your pie chart here, which is displaying a lot of information, but at the same time, you'll notice that if I want to distinguish between a 20% and a 25%, a pie chart is sometimes difficult to read. That's where new chart styles come in, or data labels. So data labels is something that we specialize in as well, because while this is not glamorous, this is one of the most asked for enhancements, is the ability to customize data labels. And we can do this customization in many different ways. So the very first thing that you can do to your data labels is choose to display only specific data labels. Let's say I only want to display the maximum value and the minimum value and nothing else. The second option that you can do is you can display all data labels, but you can control what is displayed in the data labels. So in this scenario, not only am I displaying the value, I'm also displaying the percentage associated with it. In addition, let's say you wanted to also display the category, in this case region, you could do that and apply it, so you're displaying the region as well. So now your data label becomes not only a flexible way to display data that is available on the chart, you could also pull up data off the chart, like last year values or forecast values or target values, anything like that, and pull that in and display it on top of your data label. But this is only one part of the customization that is possible. The second more vital part of the customization that is available with data labels is that you can do conditional data labels. Conditional data label occurs when a certain event is triggered. So let's say you've reached a certain threshold, or you've attained a certain KPI and you're doing fantastic. You can create a data label specific to that, and you can create it as a threshold and say, if something happens, if my shipping cost is met and it is greater than a certain value, let's say that I'm going to select this as the top first one, and then I'm going to do that as a dark green color, and I'm going to turn on a data label which says great job. You can see that in this scenario, the highest performing value has been given a customized data label. So conditionally you can change the data label as well. So multiple such options are available. So if we go back to Vitaracharts, you can see that we have play animation, custom markers, polar modes, background colors are an important and interesting feature as well. So if you're trying to visually demarcate different zones in which you want to draw the user's attention, so let's say when you hit your 25th percentile, your 50th percentile, and your 75th percentile, you could draw lines to indicate those. That's one way you could do it. You could also demarcate it with background colors, as we've done that across different chart styles. So that's also an interesting way in which you can call attention to what's happening in trends and patterns around the different charts that you put forward to your end users. So these are all existing charts that we're talking about, charts like bread and butter charts, like your line chart, your bar chart, your area chart, etc., and creating new styles with it. What we've also added, specifically this has come under the umbrella of IBCS certification, which is very much requested across our European customer base, and we were able to incorporate new features as well. So this is one such feature where you are able to take a single chart and add new charts to it. So this is one single chart, which is a bar chart, and as a part of the bar chart you are able to add delta and variance to it. Let's take this simple use case. Regardless of industry, we're always doing actual versus what is the forecast or the plan. So when you're comparing forecast versus plan, the first question is, how far behind are you, or how far ahead are you? So in order to do that, you can simply add these additional chart styles, absolute variance and relative variance, to the chart and give that information easily. So if I'm here, I would just add variance to show me how far ahead or how far behind I am, and relative variance to show the same thing but on percentage points, to give you that piece of information. So this additional thing, being able to show the deltas and the variances to your bar charts and to your column charts and to your waterfall charts, has been created as a part of Vitaracharts. So if you're not using it today, certainly should take advantage of it and take a look at how this can make things more clear in your enterprise reporting platform. So the same feature, as I said, is available for columns, and it's available for waterfall charts also. So you should definitely take a look at that. So this is my initial section talking around the fundamental charts and what you can kind of do with it. Now I'd like to show you a little bit of the enhancements we've done with the grid, specifically talking about the new things that we have added within the grid as well. So let's start off with that. Let's show you a little bit of what is existing in the Vitara grid. Here our inspiration is completely Excel, right? What we're trying to look at is why do people go into Excel, what are the things that they do, and how can we put them into Vitaracharts. The very first thing people do in Excel is move things around. So whether it's an attribute or whether it's a measurement, people want the ability to shift them and move them around as they would like when they're doing it in Excel. So if we enable that, that alone gives a huge sense of comfort for customers that this grid is a flexible option for them. So here we are moving attributes to the left, to the right, and inserting them in between measurements, and all of that is very, very seamless. The next thing we are able to do is we are able to expand and collapse things. So the expand and collapse option works not just horizontally, not just vertically, but also horizontally. Let me show you what I mean by that. So here you're noticing that this is not a MicroStrategy hierarchy per se. I happen to have year, then I have region. So if I want, I can go ahead and add product category to this. So it's just a question of dragging and dropping. So you can dynamically create a category for expansion and collapsing on a vertical basis. What do I mean by horizontal expanding and collapsing? This is something that we would do in Excel. We right click and create groups of things. So I would do the same thing here. I would create any group that I want and drag and drop specific measurements into it. Create a group. Multiple groups can be created as well. Let's just do one for the sake of this demo, and then you can expand it, show everything, or you can cut it down and show specific things. Now this helps you manage with any space constraints that you're working, but more importantly, this helps you group things together as you would want for getting your user's eye to the right kind of measurements while hiding extraneous information that might or might not be of interest to them. Right. So the next thing that you can do with the grids is, of course, you can do different chart styles as you've seen in the visualization earlier. But the most important kind of chart style that I find useful is the ability to also insert pictures, custom markers into the grid. So if you right click on any of the measurement, here we have ratings. For example, you might have customer survey data, you might have employee data, you might have product popularity data. It might be on a scale of 5, 10, 7, what have you. If you want to showcase that visually, you just right click and change the display style into a custom marker and choose the different styles of custom marker. As you can see, we have various styles, whether it's stars, whether it's any specific symbols, anything related to your industry, you can add that into the grid. But more importantly, if you have data which is very granular and you're trying to incorporate a table within a table, your only option earlier was to create multiple tables, but we've now saved you the trouble, so you can insert tables within tables. This is just a 2x2 grid, which is very simple, but you don't have to just stick to a 2x2 grid. You can actually go ahead and create any size of grid and insert that. Let me show you very quickly how this can be done, because this is a new feature. So you click on the hamburger menu, click on format, and this is where the insert option comes in. So you can insert different images, you can insert links, but you can also insert tables, and you can define how big or small you want the table to be. As you can see here, right below the value, we are inserting a 2x2 grid in which we have static content and we have dynamic content. So you apply that and click submit, and that's where you see your grid come up. You can format it any which way you want. Once the grid is inserted, you can go ahead and set it up to have a dark background, light background. All of those things are adjustable. So this gives you tremendous flexibility when you're working with multidimensional data and you want specifically to insert some additional drill down options within the grid itself. So the grid is super flexible. I'm certainly not able to go into the depths of all the possibilities, but I would encourage you to check this out. You can log into the Vitara website, click on interactive charts and land here, so you can explore all these options yourself. Everything that I'm showing you today is public, so you can just go to our website, click on interactive charts, and you will land at this page to explore all the different grid features. Additionally, we have product documentation also available on the website, but I would say the best way to explore this is by hands-on, clicking on these things individually and seeing what they offer. That's what I wanted to kind of point you out to from a resource perspective. So what we've covered so far, just to quickly summarize, we've gone through the fundamental charts. We've talked a little bit about the features that we offer in these fundamental charts, which are over and beyond what are available default out of the box. The second thing that we've gone and done is we have looked at the grid and some of the exhaustive features that are available within the grid to make it more friendly, more interactive, and more usable from an end user perspective. Now I'd like to very quickly show you some of the new and interesting charts. We've looked a little bit about the calendar earlier, just super simple chart, but a most interesting and useful chart when it comes to displaying data in a very intuitive way, right? And our calendar chart is flexible as well. So you're looking at a month-wise calendar here with days blocked off, showing where you have your high sales and your low sales. But you can only imagine the possibilities regarding this one, because regardless of your business, we're always measuring ourselves either at the day level or at the hour level or at the month level, and we've got you covered with the calendar on that. So it not only displays that at the day level, but you can go inside the calendar and you can change this up to display hour in the day, days of the week, or monthly calendars as well. So if I shift this to hours in a day, this will actually lay this out by day and tell you all the different 24 hours available. So if you were in the industry where you are tracking factory production, or if you are tracking calls that come into your enterprise, and you want to track which are busy days and which are the quiet times of the day, so you can manage staffing, you can manage your existing resources and allocate accordingly. You could do that with the calendar. And the colors are adjustable, as I was showing earlier. These are formattable. So this is one way in which you can display data as a calendar heat map. That's only one part of the usage scenario though. The second most interesting part is you can use this as a filter. So you can click on individual items and you can use this as a filter to run the rest of your dashboard, and this can be done for individual days, or you can select multi-select and click multiple days and modify your dashboard accordingly as well. So the calendar can be a very flexible tool for you in your arsenal. Very, very popular obviously with our business users, and I think after the grid, the calendar is perhaps the most used chart that our customers have. Couple of new styles that we added. This is a honeycomb chart. It's actually a modification of an existing chart. So what happens with Vitaracharts is we build charts in layers. So you might start off with a bar chart and end up with a radial chart or a concentric ring chart, right? In the same way, the origin of this chart is a bubble chart, and from the bubble chart we allow you to add multiple shapes. So it could be hexagons or circles or squares, what have you, and you can build these types of charts. So if you're looking at something like server availability, for which this specific chart was requested by one of our customers, to show their available servers on their server farm in a cluster, and show the resources where they are constrained, which one needs affectation, immediate attention from somebody, and highlight those in red, and how the other charts are working and highlight those in green, right? So this is a very, very intuitive chart, again laying this down as a honeycomb chart, but it's a modification of an existing chart which we have enhanced. Another chart type which you might not have seen before is this packed bubble chart. The packed bubble chart is a variation of the bubble chart. This has come about with a real life use case as well, both from the insurance industry as well as the HR industry. So if you're looking at this chart, for example, let's say you're taking different departments. Each department has multiple employees, and you can see how their salaries and employee levels within their designations are marked, and you can at a glance see this particular department has a lot more highly paid employees, whereas the second department has multiple employees but their salaries are more or less in the same range, right? So at a glance, if you're looking at large data sets, this helps you understand the distribution of the data and how that data can be looked at a high level to see which departments you want to deep dive and which departments look okay. Similarly, with insurance data, you can look at the same chart for understanding risk of particular population groups and where you might need attention. So these are all new chart types that are available with Vitaracharts. Meko chart is another chart. It's a three-dimensional bar chart. So all of you might be familiar with the bar chart, which we use exhaustively. But a three-dimensional bar chart allows you to add an additional data point. So not only are you looking at let's take medical data, for instance, right? So let's say you have a particular segment in which you have different drugs, and in that particular drugs you're looking to see what's your market share. So if you're looking to see the different companies that are contributing towards that particular drug type, but also what is the percentage market share of this drug overall, you can do this with this kind of a MECO three-dimensional bar chart. So it gives you an additional frame of reference. New chart types that you might also find include, barcode plot, things like the slope chart, things like word cloud, histogram, lollipop chart, etc. Gantt chart is super popular too. We get this request on and off for different reasons, but this is kind of like your great for project management, understanding the risk of where things are going well, where you might need more attention, what kind of projects are out of budget. In this example, we are taking the start and end dates of various presidencies across the US, and we are color coding that by the party. So it gives you different perspective on the same data, makes it much more visual and interactive. Different KPI styles, we've looked at a few of these. I'd like to point your specific attention to the bullet chart and the lipstick charts. Though these charts are kind of familiar and they have been used in the past, they continue to remain very, very popular because they are more easy to read. So in the bullet chart, you can make this both with a horizontal bar as well as a vertical bar chart. The bullet chart can be two different styles. You can just have an overlay of two bar charts, one over the other, to indicate current performance versus projected values, or you can also have a third measurement which indicates what is the target value, and that can be created and added on in different formats as well. So in this scenario, we've added a simple line to indicate how you're doing against the target, but you can change that style just like we did earlier with custom markers. You can change the style and pick a different option as well. So you can go into the specific target value and change the style from, let's say, a line to a star, and click apply. That makes it very, very customizable for you. So regardless of charts that you use in Vitara, you can always make sure that you customize them and apply them to your specific scenario. The KPI chart for displaying simple achievement data is also very customizable. I'm sure you've seen the traditional gauges that are available. We do have those in Vitara as well, but I want to quickly show you this animated gauge, which continues to remain popular, especially when you're presenting to executives. This presents itself very, very well on large screens. The border can be customized based on the attained measurement, and you can also change the colors, styles, and add background images to the particular gauge to indicate which particular business performance indicator you are representing. We have added a new chart style. You can't really call it a chart. That's where my hesitation was coming from, but it is a way in which you can add dynamic headers or dynamic information to your dashboard. So this is basically a dynamic text chart. In the dynamic text, you can add elements that are static as well as dynamic. So you can pull in things like year. So let's say you're prompting on filtering on a specific year, or you want to pull up when this was last run by using a last run date from your database. Anything like that can be incorporated to make the dashboard much more informational back to your end user. So let's say you have an audience which is both US as well as EU based. You might want to add currency type, last run time, so everybody understands how fresh the data is and what kind of information you are presenting back to them. So a lot of these things, as you might realize, is new things that have been added on to Vitaracharts. Given the time that we have for the demo, I won't be able to fully go deep dive into these things, but we do have multiple ways in which you can explore this on your own, or you can reach out to me for a more personalized demo. we will be happy to kind of walk you through that. But before we wrap, I would like to show you a little bit of what's coming next with Vitaracharts as well, because that's something that's very exciting for us, and we hope that you are also going to appreciate it. So the two new things that we are going to be launching with Vitara is, one is an admin tool for doing a check on whether the build is installed correctly, does it match with the version of MicroStrategy you have, is it installed in the right place, all that good stuff, and a customization tool. So let me walk you through the customization tool first. You can already do this. You can add custom color palettes, you can change the language. So we do support French, German and Spanish display options, but these things were settings that you could do as an administrator, which needed you to get into the property management and explicitly change files. Now we've added a tool, so it can be done very easily using just a simple interface. So this is going to be launched very quick soon with Vitara. You'll be able to do all of this very easily. As you can see, this is what it looks like. And the second thing that we have launched is the build checker tool. So anytime you have a question, which version of Vitara am I using, is this compatible with MicroStrategy's current version, have all the things been installed currently, everything including your license can be verified in one go using the build checker, and you can get a report which will make life very easy, I'm sure, for anybody who's administering or managing Vitaracharts, whether it's on-prem or on MicroStrategy Cloud. In addition to these things that are going to be launched, a couple of more announcements that are coming up, which I would like you to kind of watch for, because I won't be giving out all the details today, but they're going to be coming up very soon. So we are collaborating with Strategy again this year, and it's going to be a very closely kind of collaborated contest, because it's a joint contest that we are launching with Strategy for Strategy World 2026. For those of you who are planning to attend, this is going to be in Las Vegas, so yay, very exciting. And the dashboard competition is going to be opened very shortly, and look out for announcements on that. But if you are not able to attend, don't worry about it, you can still participate in the competition. It's going to be open to worldwide users of the platform, and the theme is going to be very exciting as well. So please watch out for that, and we have some fantastic prizes lined up, so that's something to look forward to. And the second thing we're going to be launching is a new AI based chart generation tool. Without disclosing too much, I can tell you this is something that's going to be very useful for anybody who's trying to develop any reporting for end users, or even for end users trying to create visual aids to understand their business better. So these are the two upcoming things to watch out for. And with that, I think for today I will be closing the session. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat window. Given the large number of users, we are not opening this up for questions verbally, but we will be reading through the chat window and answering those questions back to you. So please do send us your comments, your feedback. We do have a couple of surveys that have been opened up as well, so please do take a look at that. And if you have any questions that remain unanswered, you can also always reach out to us. I've shared my contact information here for those of you who'd like to have any follow-up conversations with me. Feel free to reach me anytime. And thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day.